Josh Wolf will be making his way here in a couple of minutes. He's going to be at Side Splitters this weekend. He's a very funny comedian. We hit it off with Josh because he's a bit of a pervert like we are. He I don't know. He's right up our alley. He's one of the good guys. So if you want to go see him, go check him out this weekend. Anybody have plans for this weekend? I feel like we're going from weekend to weekend.
Yeah, no, it was too fast.
Too short,
to
right?
Make any plans?
I'm looking forward to doing nothing in the Clearwater Beach area this weekend. I might even try to go to the beach. How do you like that? I've become outside guy these last couple of days.
The hottest day on record. You're going.
But I like to go in the water.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like
a lot of sharks out there these days, Michael.
You know, I'm not afraid of a bobcat or a shark.
I'm telling you.
I'll grab it. You know what to do. Punch in the nose.
Well.
I've been known to take a shark by the tail and just redirect it. So one time I was on the beach and a shark came swimming among the people. And it was a baby shark, though, and everybody was freaked out because they could see the dorsal fin.
Plus, everybody was singing.
Yeah. And I grabbed it by the tail, and I go, turn around, you. And I whipped it around, and it actually looked back at me as to say thanks. I was lost. I was a baby shark, and it swam back out to sea. So
you grabbed shark by the tail.
Yeah. I turned it around. It wasn't a violent. It wasn't a violent.
You battled and won.
No, it wasn't even a battle. I was doing it a favor. I go, turn around, little shark. Turn around, little guy, and turn him around.
Foreigner Not Foreigner is playing Sunday.
Where is that?
That's at the amphitheater.
Nobody from Foreigner.
Loverboy and Foreigner, yeah.
Loverboy, you know what they say? Everybody is working for the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't see them either.
They also say turn me loose.
Oh, yeah. Why don't you turn me loose? Yeah, no, I'm not going to that.
Saturday, Zozo, Led Zeppelin tribute band, playing at Janice.
But what's a bigger tribute band, Foreigner or Sozo? I mean, Foreigner is actually using the Foreigner name.
Yeah. I mean, Zozo's not at the amphitheater.
Spanish. Is Josh here? Bring him in. Use this microphone over here. Don't make him wait in the garage.
Unplug this one.
Yeah. Unplug that one. Let him use this one, and let's get it going. Is he here by himself?
No.
Who's here? BT?
No.
Is Josh doing cocaine in there? What's going on? It looked like he was bending over. You just do a bump before you came in? Hold on. Let's get him set up. Look, come over here. Sit on the couch. Josh Wolf is at Side Splitters this weekend. That's your son? I'm sorry that I just accused you of doing cocaine in front of your child.
Oh, he does have a powdery substance, though.
Yeah. I'm sure it's not. Hold on. Let's get Josh over there on the microphone before we continue to have a conversation we can here. You can sit wherever you want. You both can sit on the couch if you want. This is now. I've heard you talk about your son before. Now, Spanish, will you plug that mic in?
They were supposed to tell you that he was coming.
No, I don't care. I'm fine with it. But last time you were here, you did make reference to your son.
Yeah. My first couple hours of material were all about.
Yes.
By the way, driving up here, dude, it is legit. I'm like, is this the Florida Godfather mansion? Are we about to kill Fredo?
Let me ask you, is that off? Because you've not been in this studio before. You've been on the show before, but not in this studio.
You know what? I was wondering when I pulled up if I had been here before.
I don't think you've been in this studio.
Was the last time I was here we had that creepy clown?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was in the studio.
Studio.
And I've done, and I'm sure you have too. I've done them. You've obviously done a gazillion interviews.
Yes.
And I have, that one sticks out so vividly.
Good.
Not just because Jacob, there was a clown who stuck. What was Carmen? Was that her name?
Carmen is back at the station. She can hear you now. Carmen. Sorry, her mic was off. Carmen was in the studio. She's deathly afraid of clowns, and the second It movie had just come out.
Yes.
And one of our engineers dressed up to the T like the clown, and I started talking to Carmen. I roped her into it. I was like, "You're doing such a great job." And she was like, "Oh, thank you." And she totally suckered into it, and then he came in and just like tapped her on the shoulder. Her reaction was so natural, scared the hell out of her.
Was that but that was not the clown that stuck the
Flip-flop.
foot in the mouth.
Oh, you're thinking of Flip-Flop.
Yeah, dude.
Sorry.
I remember Flip-flop.
Flip-flop was the one who stuck the foot in the mouth.
Yeah.
It wasn't even that he stuck your unwashed foot in his mouth without, like, sight unseen. He was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." It was the noises he made when the foot hit the mouth.
Yeah.
Where I was like, I am uncomfortable and kind of hard
I can't
at
believe,
the same time.
I can't believe we had two weird clowns that I got them confused. How old are you?
I'm 26.
26. You look so young. You got your father's young genes.
Yeah.
Now,
thank God.
I have no longer have interest in talking to you. I'm going to talk to
Okay,
you
cool,
something else.
cool.
Sweet.
Real questions for you as a father who has a 17-year-old. When did you know that your dad was like cooler than other dads?
I would probably around 16 or 17.
You did.
Yeah, 16 or 17, it started to sit in. Well, earlier than that, like when I was a freshman in high school, I went to ask a girl to homecoming, and she said that I didn't do it good enough the first time, so do it again. So he was on his stick at Chelsea at that time.
Uh-huh.
So I asked him, I was like, "Yo, ask Chelsea if I can ask her to homecoming on TV."
Oh my God,
That's pretty good.
That's bad.
She said yes.
Yeah.
So by the way, I said
but why
I set expectations way too high my freshman year. By the way.
Yeah,
I had
but
3 more years to go and could never top it ever.
You go to Chelsea and you say that, and she says yes.
100%, dude. She was so game for stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anything that made her show different and personable and made it more human, she was on board for. But let me tell you something. When he told me that, what a different time we live in. You imagine when we were growing up, if a girl was like, you need to ask me in a more grandiose way. I'm like, let me ask your friend then.
Yeah. You want to know something about my first prom? Was in my junior prom. And I had asked this girl that worked at the movie theater with me. She was a year older than me and went to a different school.
By the way, the movie theater was such a great place to work when we were growing up.
Great job.
Great job.
Saw the movies free.
Yeah,
Eat all
great
the
job.
popcorn,
Yeah,
see
great
all the
job.
people. So my father gave me some of the best fatherly advice he ever gave me. He sat down and he goes, "This girl you're taking to the prom, Scaramella." I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "You can't do anything with her." I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You can't touch her. You can't get her drunk. You can't." I was like, "All right, this is weird." And he's like, I've never been more serious. And I said, "Why?" He goes, "Liz Scaramella is the girl. Her father owns Scaramix, the cement company. They're the biggest mobsters on the island." He goes, "I'm legit telling you, you cannot do anything with this girl." I was like,
He wasn't doing it as like a dad, like being
No.
off by 10. He was doing it as in, I would like to see my son.
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
Got it, got
He
it,
did
got
not want me to be buried later on that night,
Yeah.
and I appreciated it.
Yeah,
As I am
absolutely.
older now, I appreciate it. How old are you when you first started getting tattoos?
18 is when I got my first tattoo.
On your own, or you ask your dad?
This was my going away present for college. So I got one on the inside of my arm done the night before I left for school.
Okay.
And then after that, all the rest are by myself.
I ask because my son, who really is not 17, he'll be 17 next month, has got 8, 9
At
tattoos
least,
now.
yeah.
Yeah. I know.
Since he was like 15.
Yeah.
Oh, they're addicting.
Is he
I
the
want
only
so
one
many
in his
more.
high school with tattoos?
No, because he played football, and there were a couple other football players, like 1 or 2, but he was the first one to have, like, I have a sleeve, so
Right.
but he started with the pieces, and then he
Did you have to okay what he was going to get?
I had to have a notarized letter, and I had to go down there with him.
Yeah.
Now they just know him and they know me. So
Yeah, but
I went down there and I said, "Listen to me. I'm gonna tell you guys 2 things: no face tattoos.
Yeah.
None of that stuff anywhere above his neck, and we're good."
Yeah, but my thing was like,
good rule.
my
Yeah.
thing was like, look, and I want because at 15, you make bad decisions, and when you start tattooing yourself, you're like, I'm gonna get a dragon with Shawn Mendes's face on it. You're like, what the shit?
Whoa! Don't say that word.
Oh, you
We're
can't.
on
I
the
forgot
radio.
we're on
Yeah,
radio.
yeah, yeah.
God.
Just because we're in a garage doesn't mean you're on a
My
podcast.
fault. My fault.
No,
my
you're
fault.
okay. So that's the thing. So this is what I did when my son was like 8. He loved Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber was like the biggest thing, and he didn't know that if you love Justin Bieber and you're a boy, everybody's gonna make fun of you.
Yeah.
So we even bought him for like Christmas a little Justin Bieber action figure with the stage and all that.
love
Hilarious.
Right.
I love
So I
that.
have a picture of that, and every time he wants a tattoo, I put it in front of him and I go, "Before you pick a tattoo, when you were 8, you loved Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
And now you would be horrified for me to show your friends this picture. So you should know that what you love today, you love little Tay-Tay or little Dirk or whatever they are. You will not love that in 5 years. So he's got none of that on him.
Yeah.
All his tattoos are memorable. Like, he and I have a matching tattoo of my grandmother's name on her wrist. He has my wife's birth date and Roman numerals on it. I'm like, he suckered us in with the right. I just
Yeah.
wanted a tribute
Yeah.
to mom, that kind of stuff.
We were gonna get. We had 2 ideas for tattoos that we were going to get together. One was just a matching mole that nobody was going to know
toes.
With the
It's like in a different spot. Yeah.
Be like, you got to get that looked at. You should get that looked at.
we were gonna get a matching ball, and the other one we were gonna get. Weren't we gonna get a tattoo that said "Feet don't fail me now"?
Yeah. Because
Yeah, I don't know. Why.
oh, I know why.
Why was that?
Well, I remember I almost lost 3 toes.
Oh,
on my
that's
left
right.
foot.
That's right.
Why?
I was working in TV production, and you know those trucks with the big black lift on the back?
Yeah.
They're like for like furniture. Or
It's
deliveries or whatnot?
2023. You can't
Yeah.
say black lift, by the way.
You could say black lift driver.
Yeah.
I know which one you mean.
And,
Yeah.
and so I was back there loading some stuff on the back of the truck, and when the lift had come up and connected to the back of the truck, my foot was over the edge. And so it crushed my 3 toes on my left foot. 3 months later, 22 plus stitches in 2 different toes, 6 hours in the ER.
Ooh.
You know what we found
Almost-
out though, by the way?
almost losing my toes 4 weeks in, after not losing them the day of. Yeah, it was a crazy 3 months. But
How are they now?
Great. I have well
They're deformed.
deformed. Definitely. Like if you saw me at the beach, you'd be like, "Oh, he's got all 10 toes." But if you came up close to me, you'd be like, "He's got 8.5."
Like my cloudy toenail. From a distance, it looks fine, but you get closer, you're like, what's going on?
Exactly,
in that? Yeah, I
exactly,
got
yeah.
You know what we
Okay.
found out from the what's the name of a doctor that does the feet?
Podiatrist.
Podiatrist. Thank you.
you.
We're going to be great on $25,000
Yes,
pyramid. Is that when we were there? So the big toe and the little toe were fine. It was
Right.
the middle 3.
Oh.
And the
Which,
guy,
by the way, best case scenario.
the
Yeah,
guy
yeah.
says, he goes, look, worst case scenario, which is possible, he loses all 3 toes, but he said, but don't worry, those are your beach toes. And I was like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
He goes, you don't.
You
The
can balance
pinky
it,
and
other
the big one are the ones you need. The middle ones are just, they look good at the beach, but they're not functional. I'm
one.
like,
Right.
but all 3 of those toes are considered beach toes?
By the
Yeah.
way, you know he's had that prepared because he's had to tell so many people that.
yeah.
Don't worry, it's a
100%.
beach
Yeah, yeah.
toe.
It's a
Right,
beach toe. It doesn't
100%,
matter.
100%.
But still, also, you don't want to just be the hook 'em horns dude on your foot.
I mean,
It would be cool in a rock concert.
that's
though.
what I'm saying. I had just dropped out of college, reapplying to UT with that as my
So
my
you'd have
picture.
got in for sure.
That's what I'm
That's
saying. I would have
so
got the
funny.
full ride. It might have worked out.
You know what's funny, and it sounds like you have a good relationship with your son.
Yes.
This part of my basic tour or my career, this has rejuvenated me, dude.
Yeah.
You know, I guess I didn't realize how lonely I was on the road.
Yeah. That's
But-
when you start doing bad stuff.
To be out on the road with him, and we jump on stage together and we mess around and we do a bunch of our podcasts out here, it has changed the entire trajectory of what I do.
I feel like my son would not want to hang out with me, though. Well, you're older. They say you come back. They
Yeah,
say
yeah,
you
yeah. It took a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, you know, when you're 16, 17, 18, you're focused on.
girls and
Vagina.
weed
Can I say
and-
that word?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the
Anything
thing.
In
that's
that context, you can.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't start talking about creative ways to enjoy that, but
Right.
what you can say is, yeah.
Yeah, it really does lure you into podcasts.
Yeah. You feel, this show is very comforting.
Yeah.
So you're on the road together.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Now I don't know. I would imagine you are not with his mother.
I biological mother?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
Not since he was a year and a half.
Oh, okay. So you've been with the same girl?
I've been with my wife Beth since 2000
No,
and
how many years? Don't say the year. How many years?
She
Quick math,
She
math.
keeps planning something for next year, and it's a big number on an anniversary date. So subtract
Well, that's how
one.
long we've been married, though. So we'll be married 20 years.
Uh-huh.
And then we've been together since 2001.
She's planning something big for 20?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
My wife and I were married 20 years this year, and we went, oh, cool.
That's not
That's
not
who
my wife.
mom is.
No,
my
no.
mom is she's a big festive party person. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, like any holiday or any type of celebration, whether I was graduating or it was a birthday,
It's
or
extra, dude.
Or my baseball team had just won a tournament, she had a party plan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
She's great.
She does that with gifts for me too. Like she like planned them for like 90 days, and I'm like,
Dude, but doesn't that piss you off? Because then you're like, I can't compete with this.
yeah.
She would buy me, my wife for Christmas, for Father's Day, just got me this thing. I'm a big Godfather fan, the movie The Godfather, right?
Yeah.
She got me this thing. It's like a diorama almost. And it's the Godfather, it's like the mask on the outside, but inside is a replica of the Godfather's office.
Oh my.
And I
Lord.
go,
Oh, that's cool.
where would you even, like, she's going to Etsy. She's getting a one-of-a-kind thing for
Yeah,
me when
yeah,
she gets
yeah.
me. I go, that's what I got.
Did you watch The Offer?
100 times.
I just watched it for the first time.
I watch it every once in a while. Just put it on.
Yo, it was so good. And Matthew Good was so at playing Bob Evans.
Yeah, he was great.
Remarkable.
Yeah.
But did he not get any kind of nod for an award for that?
No, and that guy is English,
British.
too.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. He was so good in that movie.
And he usually plays like the good-looking, put-together dude.
Yeah.
He had his cadence perfect,
The cadence, he had what I imagine a young Bob Evans was like.
and so easy that character you're playing, you play him over the top.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're like, this isn't believable.
Bob Evans was over the top. You have
But
to be.
he was over the top, grounded, which was amazing. And I'll tell you something, man. Like, I don't know how much of it is true to the story. You know,
Right.
they like to be.
So my dad is 70, couple of 73, 72. He was there, like, because they made that house that they had was in Staten Island, which was in my neighborhood where I grew up. So my dad was backing up a lot of these things. So I didn't know I knew the mob stories, but I didn't know the involvement in the movie. So my dad was backing it up with and then remember this guy, and then this guy, the commissioner, and all that. And I thought that what's the actor that was the mob guy? I thought he was over the top.
Giovanni Ribisi.
Ribisi. Who's a great
Joe
actor.
Colombo.
I thought his Joe Colombo was like over the top. Then I went and watched YouTube videos of Joe Colombo.
Me too.
He nailed
Nailed
that.
it. Nailed it.
Nailed the voice and everything.
It was amazing. I thought Miles Teller was really
Miles Teller was
good.
great, yeah.
The Offer is basically
The girls were good.
Yeah, his we'll call it secretary, but was so good.
Yeah.
She's in Ted Lasso.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
I'm the only American who hasn't watched that. Oh, okay.
The Offer is the story about how this producer got The Godfather made.
Oh.
And then, so my wife and I were then we went back and watched The Godfather right after.
Yeah.
It changed so many things for me.
You
dude.
know now. You know all the behind the scenes stuff.
That cat scene?
The cat scene.
Blew my mind.
The cats. It's so funny.
And the Luca
because
Brasi
Look
with
around,
him.
yeah, reading the lines. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
my wife gets me this thing, and I look inside it, and she goes, "What's the matter?" And I go, "I just thought there would be a cat in here." And then my buddy came over, who I also know is a Godfather fan. I go, "Hey, look what my wife got me." And he looks and he goes, "No cat." And she goes, "What?" She goes, "We're gonna have to get a little cat and glue it to the desk." It just seems like it
hilarious.
should be there. I have the same thing. I have watched Godfather 1 and 2 almost 3 times a week. Not all of it, but I'll just
think-
put it on.
I think we have the box set on DVD.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen 1 and 2?
I've seen both of them. It's been a minute, but I have seen both of them.
Yeah. There's no reason to see 3, I don't think.
I mean, look, 3 itself is a conclusion once you've watched 1 and 2 1,000 times. Maybe watch 3, but they're just 2 different movies.
Well, like I don't know that anybody. Here's the thing. I think everybody was clamoring for 2. I don't know if anybody was clamoring for 3.
And for some reason, for 3 would have the story of 3 is great, but it looks like kind of like Jaws after Spielberg left. Like they passed it off to a whole new crew, and all of a sudden George Hamilton's in it. And you're like,
You're like
what's going
Tom
on?
Spielberg. Who's that?
Yeah, exactly.
Why is he?
This is Josh Wolf, who is here in the studio with us with his son. I'm sorry,
Jacob.
Jacob. I'm sorry, Jacob Wolf.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, what a good name. What a good name. You're playing sports in high school or whatever you do, and you got a wolf on your jersey. That's awesome.
It wasn't bad. I will say the only bad comparison was I was in middle school right when Twilight was a really big thing. So everybody was like, "Oh, Jacob Wolf, like the movie," and I'm like, "No, like me. Pick something else." Like,
Do you know what? So you got that. You know what I got walking down the hallways? Are you hungry like the wolf? Oh my God.
Side note, though, I just went to see Duran Duran in concert.
how was that?
Me and
Recently?
the Wizard over there, yeah.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Really?
Yes. I didn't think, we were like, we'll go see it. And we were loving it.
Okay, and so I'm so curious as to what everybody was dressed like. Did everybody go dressed like their teenage selves?
So we were in an area.
Because when you
surrounded-
see Motley Crue,
yeah,
you're
get
like, are you
hairband.
still wearing that same? They're wearing the same clothes as they were in the 80s.
This was the awkward thing. We were most people were in our age group and they were dressed normal. Younger kids that came to see Duran Duran were dressed. The kids were dressed up in goth stuff, like a lot of the black. I'm like, how is that a goth kind of band?
it's not a goth thing, but for some reason, kids in this generation think listening to classic rock
Makes
is
you
like
gothy.
hard or
Oh.
like.
And
You know
that's
what
not
I'm
even.
saying?
I
Like,
wouldn't
it
even
tries
say
to
it's
put
classic
you in a-
rock.
Listen,
yeah.
dude, I wouldn't call Duran Duran hard.
100%. If you listen to
Reflex,
Hungry
flex,
Like the
flex.
Wolf, there's nothing hard really about it.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it's something with this. With
Can
my
I tell
generation.
you a really embarrassing story going to a concert the very first concert that my parents let me stay out overnight for.
Uh-huh.
The most popular kid in school, in my class anyways. No, I wouldn't say popular, but one of those dudes that would you ever go to high school, the guy who like disappeared for 2 weeks?
Yeah.
And he would come back, and it was like he had a mom and dad. You could always go to his house, and they were never there.
Yes,
and you were like,
yes.
what is happening, right? He was mysterious. He never really told you what his life. So this dude asked me, he was like, hey, do you want to wait out overnight for me for tickets for this concert? And I was 15. I was like, yeah, maybe 16. I was like, yeah, I definitely want to do that. This kid's name was Owen Yard. I'm like, I definitely want to do this, Owen Yard.
Did he pay you for it?
No, he was like,
With him.
with him. He was like, ask your mom and dad if we can
got it,
stay,
got it,
if we
got
can wait out overnight. And that seemed like a real cool thing to do,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, when you're 15.
And so it was at UMass. That's where I grew up, in Amherst, Mass. And so we go, and we're 16, and we're standing in line, and there were these 2 sophomores in college, these girls standing in line behind us. And it's when you're 16, a sophomore in college is a grown up.
Yeah.
That's a grown person.
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
There's no doubt.
That's a real woman.
Even though she's probably, what, 20 maybe?
Doesn't matter. She's
Right.
not a teenager.
She's
Exactly.
a grown person. And so we're in line all night and talking. And my buddy Owen Yard was like, hey, that girl Stacy, she was really vibing. She was flirting with you. I was like, no way. He was like, you should make sure you show up dressed to impress to this concert. So I show up in my parachute pants.
Uh-huh.
Did you have parachute pants growing up?
No, I was too fat for parachute. I actually wore a parachute.
An actual parachute, yeah. But I had the dark gray one with the red, and then I had a sleeveless shirt with a lot of zippers on it that didn't do
sure,
anything.
sure.
Mullet,
Right.
thick silver chain.
You were ready to go.
Dude, who? Yeah, I'm ready. This
Yeah.
is my vagina outfit,
Yeah.
right? So I show up, and by the way, the concert, I'd never heard of him, but you'll know who this is. Paul Young.
Yeah, oh, sure.
Okay, so I'm up front, man. I'm dancing around.
You waited outside all night for Paul Young tickets?
Let's skip past that
Yeah.
part.
Only 2 in line.
There were only like 12 of us in line, yeah. So, but it was just the idea of waiting in line, right? And so I'm dancing around. I didn't really know this dude's music, but I feel these 2 hands go into my pocket.
Yeah.
And it's the girl Stacy.
The woman.
And she's like, do you mind if I do this? And I was like, no. And I at 16,
Yeah.
that lasts however long, 2.5, 3 seconds. And I finished in my pants. Now, I had no real experience sexually, and I had
Right.
never done that in my pants before. And
Right.
I didn't know it would leave a mark,
Right.
especially on the shiny parachute pants.
Uh-huh.
So I'm dancing around, and I have like the state of Texas
Yeah.
right shape, and the guitar player is walking around,
No way.
and because I'm right up front, dude, walking around, and the shiny pants and the black lights, he's walking around, and he looks down at my pants, and I just see him go. And he laughed, and I'm like, oh, I'm vibing with a guitar player, you know what I mean? And so he walks over, and I see him talk to the bass player and kind of point to me.
Right.
The bass player walks over, and he shrugs his shoulder like, I don't know what I'm looking at. And the guitar player pointed his guitar.
At your map.
Yeah. And they one by one, every band
my
member
God.
came over. And at first I thought, oh, I'm about to go on tour with Paul
Yeah,
Young.
they
Like,
love you. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, it was embarrassing. And then, but Owen Yard wouldn't let me leave. I was like, dude, we
No,
got to get out of here.
You
And he was-
earned it now.
That's
at this
exactly what
point.
he said to
Yeah.
me. He goes, "You earned that, dude. We're
Yeah.
sticking around." I got a Facebook message maybe 4 years ago from
Paul Young.
a woman. That would have been amazing. From a woman and she said, "Is this the Josh that I molested at a Paul Young?"
Oh my God, are you serious?
Yeah.
Do you realize one day she's watching the Chelsea show and you're on it? And she turns to her friend and she says, "You're not gonna believe this story." Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Yeah, man. That was a real quick lesson into got it. Either wear a longer shirt or
Yeah.
some shiny, not so shiny pants. But I was like, is this what a grown up is like? This is what grown ups do? No wonder they go out all the time.
Yeah, right? By the way, Joe and I, Duran Duran, we did not do that to each other. Yeah.
Who would have been the person coming around from behind? That's the
Joe
question.
is behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. No offense, Joe. yeah. That is very funny. But also, you two being out together should be a good sign to you what a loyal guy you are to your wife. Because nobody's worse of a C blocker than having your kid around.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the whole thing, man. I've lived a pretty boring life on the road.
Yeah.
I like to get high, and I don't know if you know this, but on my Friday night late shows,
Can you say this?
yeah, I can say it. I take mushrooms.
Drugs good, sex bad.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Good
I
enough.
take mushrooms before my Friday night late show,
Okay.
and
He
just
goes on stage.
yeah.
Now, do you take anything?
I'm into drugs, but I don't take anything before I go on stage.
So I'm not a drug guy at all, but I was at Bert Kreischer's house last year, and he had a candy bar that had mushrooms in it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And he goes, "Take this," and I go, "No, I've never taken mushrooms," and he's like, "Trust me, you will love it."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Take 3 squares," and he goes, "No, take one." And he was making me nervous, so I took it and I stared at it for like a year. And then the other day, for some reason, I was like, tonight, I'm taking this. So I took it.
The whole
and-
thing?
No. Okay. One square. I took it and I went upstairs and I went to bed. And I watched TV. I was watching TV. And nothing really happened. I'm always comfortable and enjoying bed. So I'm like, I can't tell this is mushrooms or if this is just me being me.
Right.
So then I went to sleep. And then I woke up the next morning, felt great and all that. And I went, something happened. And I remembered having a conversation with my son because he was out and he usually comes home around 2, but I like to check on him before I go to bed.
Yeah.
And I call him and I go, "Did I call you last night?" He goes, "Yeah, I was out." And he goes, I go, "What did I say?" And you were like, "Nothing, you were just checking in." And I go, "But I don't understand. I fell asleep and then at some point woke up in the middle of the night, called him and have no recollection of it. I just remember having a conversation with him."
Interesting.
Yeah. And I was like, and then I had to tell my son and I was like, "Did I say anything weird?" He goes, "No." I go, "Because I was totally on mushrooms."
Yeah, dude, I think you need to do 2 squares next time.
Yeah.
I will say though, however, the best sleep ever is after a mushroom trip.
Yeah, I agree.
Really?
I agree.
Oh my god! Because you're so mentally and physically exhausted after if you decide to do it a little more.
I'm gonna.
You're physically and just mentally exhausted from what you saw and what you did and how much fun you have because your energy's so high for that time period.
Yeah.
And then that come down is like you're just wiped out.
He won't do mushrooms with me.
Why?
You won't smoke a joint with me.
Yeah, I don't know why.
What a
I feel-
terrible father.
I just feel
Why?
like it's such a crazy line. Like look, I get it. Like, we won't drink together. We don't really drink anyways.
Yeah.
But we won't get shit-faced together.
Well, you can't say that
sorry,
word. Yeah,
yeah. Sorry.
Crap-faced, I
Crap-faced,
guess
yeah.
I can do that. Or like messed up. We won't do any of that. So he feels like, smoking is the same thing, right? But if he won't get, messed up with me, but he's like, but I'll do mushrooms with you.
Yeah, but
I'm
that seems like a bonding experience.
I just feel like it's a weird line for you. That it's
You've
like,
done mushrooms.
Oh.
I mean, come on.
Yesterday.
If I'm
He
looking
is
around, I'm like,
mushrooms.
this
Yeah.
guy has
He-
some on him.
I was gonna say he has them in his pocket currently.
the
or in
wizard.
that
do
hoodie
you
vest
remember
he
the
has.
Freedom Rock commercial?
Oh,
Is
yeah,
that Freedom Rock?
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
turn it up.
Freedom Rock. I don't quite understand the difference, but I feel like I don't want to do drugs with my kid either. He smokes. And I'm sure he's done mushrooms because my mom passed away a couple weeks ago, and I said
Sorry
to my
to hear
son,
that.
"Dang!" I said to my mom, I go, "I should take those mushrooms before we go to the funeral." And he goes, "No." And I go, "What?" And he goes, "Don't do that." And I went, "No." And he goes, "No." And I was like, "I'm getting these mushroom directions from my 16-year-old son." I go, "This can't be."
I would have told you yes.
Yeah.
What an
I would-
emotional.
roller
You would have
coaster.
connected to your mom in a way.
Yeah.
I'm so glad my son said no. That would have been so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, people would have been like, Mike is really talking to his mom?
Dude, that would be so awkward. Man.
My thing is this. I just feel like it's a slippery slope when you start smoking and drinking with your kid, no matter how old they are.
I agree.
It's a slippery slope for me. And so, but the mushrooms, not like we're going to do it every weekend, but what a crazy bonding experience. What a great story. I'm really just looking for a new story on stage.
Yeah.
Is it hard for you to maintain your, I find I don't smoke pot, but every once in a while I'll take an edible or something.
Yeah.
But I have a hard time doing that because the next day, if I take it at night and then sleep it off 8 hours or come in the next day, I lose my train of thought a lot quicker.
I took edibles on the flight here.
Yeah, but when you go on stage though on mushrooms, is it? I don't know, I'm not a mushroom guy, so I don't really know.
Let me answer
Are
that.
you
for
worried it would ruin?
I'm having a good time.
Everybody's booing. You go. I killed. That was great.
Here's the thing, man. I've done this so many times.
Right.
And I really, at this point in my life, feel really good about what I do on stage.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure I walk down every path before I decide not to do this. And so I'm not going to do it forever.
Right.
But if people are interested, the Friday night late shows are a little off the rails.
Okay.
But listen,
In what form is your mushrooms?
a mushroom form.
Oh,
Mushrooms.
in the raw form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he told me on a Saturday morning, dude, you probably should stop.
Right.
I would stop.
Yeah.
But we haven't had one of those shows yet.
Yeah, well, for me, like he loses track of time really easily. So usually he's only supposed to be up there for 75 to 80 minutes.
Right.
And there's sometimes he's up there for a full 120.
Oh
like,
man,
it's
they give
supposed to
you
be
the light.
It's supposed
Staff
to
wants to
be-
go home.
Yeah, it's
When they
supposed
turn
to
on the
be-
light, I'm like, that looks cool.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a 2-hour show all the way around.
Right.
Sometimes he's up there by himself for almost 2 hours.
Oof.
So again, one time we were in Michigan the other week, and they turned the AC off on him while he was on stage.
Get him out of there.
To get him off, they were like, "Yo, get off stage!" But the best part about these shows,
But
is
wait a
like,
second, dude. You make it sound like there's nobody leaving.
That's what I was
No,
getting to.
right.
It's
I was-
not
that
that
was
the
my next-
audience is.
No.
Yeah.
No, I was real good friends with Ralphie May, and Ralphie would go on the show for 2 hours, and he'd be like, "I'm going on for 2 hours tonight. I'm feeling good." And I'm like, "All right, go."
Ralphie was his babysitter.
One of my babysitters, yeah.
Shut up.
Ralphie May and Joey Coco Diaz are my
Oh,
babysitters.
no wonder why you're doing mushrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those guys
yeah.
so.
They raised me. Those
That-
guys.
so, but Ralphie would do that, and I'm like, what an amazing talent. This guy could just go up there and just riff and go. And I look around the room, the audience loved it. I look at the staff, and they're like, "God damn it, wrap it up. We
Yeah.
want to
Yeah,
go
yeah,
home."
yeah.
I feel you now. I feel you.
I will say though, I'm particularly good to the staff. Not only does my crowd tip, but if I keep them late, I throw money in the pot.
Oh, that's good.
So listen, man.
He's
I've
always
waited
paying-
a lot of
yeah.
tables,
He's
so I
always
totally
paying
get
it
it. Ralphie and Joey. So, okay, I'll give you a couple of good. One Ralphie story, one Joe story. Okay, Ralphie story first. We were at his place on Curson, Gardner. I'm sorry, it was right. He lived right behind a place called El Compadre. which is-
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
and so we're at his place. Ralphie made money before any of us,
yeah.
and was an incredibly generous dude across the board to
Yeah.
all his friends.
He was the nicest.
By the way, he and Bert kind of share that vibe of I'm bringing all of us together.
Except Bert and I have been friends longer and are closer, and Bert never bought me an $8,000 watch like Ralphie did.
I'm telling you,
And Bert makes more money.
Ralphie's
had levels.
generosity was
Unbelievable.
unmatched. But Bert is so good to the people he travels with, and
Yeah, I'm kidding.
and so yeah, and so we. Which Ralphie story do you want to tell?
I think I know which one you're gonna tell.
We'll tell us. So he goes, Josh Wolf, always first and last name.
Yep.
Him and Joe Diaz always called me first and last name. Josh Wolf, come with me. We're going to Jack in the Box. And I go, okay. So we get into his 4Runner at the time. We drive over to Jack in the Box, and he orders all this stuff for everybody who's in the building. And then he goes, can you put this order in a separate bag? And he orders something else. And I go, what's that? He goes, that's my drive back food. So he had his food that he was going to eat with everybody else, and his food that he was going to eat on the way from Jack in the Box back to the house.
That's funny.
And then he goes, open the glove box. And I opened the glove box. He had all of his condiments. He had a built-in condiment rack in the glove box.
God bless him.
He was like, bring me that. And I go, Ralphie, he goes, they don't have good condiments at Jack in the Box. And so
He had his own condiments.
he had it built into
Yeah.
the fucking
Whoa, I can't
Oh,
do that
Bill,
right
I'm so
now.
sorry,
That's
dude.
right, right.
built into that thing. Okay. So he also, man, you know how he got those, he got the operations for
Yeah.
his stomach.
Yeah.
So he invites me and Joe Diaz to Dan Tana's on Santa Monica. He loved eating at that
Yeah,
place.
I love it.
And we walk in, and he's sitting at a huge round table by himself. The table is covered with food. He's just had his whichever staple or one of the
Yeah.
And Joey and I sit down, and he goes, dig in. And we just start eating. And I go, Ralphie, what are you going to do with all this food? And I go, didn't you just have that operation? He goes, yep. I go, how are you going to eat all this food? He goes, my set isn't until 9 o'clock tonight. He goes, I'm not going to eat less. I'm just going to eat slow.
Oh my God.
Joe Diaz was his babysitter. And I have 2 other kids. So
Now, was the rest of the world unavailable to watch your kids?
No, it was this reason really, and these 2 reasons only. One, we didn't grow up with a lot of money.
Yeah.
Zero
So
money.
you gotta-
Zero money.
So not only is Joe Diaz going to do it for free, but Joe Diaz cares about me and my brother and my sister more than your $10 an hour babysitter.
That was it.
Joe
He
Diaz
cared
would
about-
put his life on the line for the 3 of us for free at any point in time.
I
And
believe
there
it.
is zero chance a $10 an hour babysitter would do that.
Yeah,
Right.
and Joey worked for Turkey Burgers. He
Uh-huh.
was like, you make me a turkey burger, I will come to a turkey burger with some black beans. And so one day I come home, and what would happen is I'd go do my set, and I'd come back, and then he'd go do his set.
Right.
And he, at the time, he's way bigger than he is now. And he never wore underwear. And one day,
It's a sad fact for you to know.
kids
Yeah.
loved him. He was unorthodox, but they absolutely loved him. So one day I walk in and he goes, okay, guys, it's time to clean up. And he bends over to help pick up some toys. And my daughter ripped hair out of his butt crack. And she goes, how many? And he goes, oh, I felt like 5 that time. I go, that time? I go, is this a game we play a lot? And he goes, yeah, she loves that game. I go, I don't like it at all. Can you find a different game to play? They had a good
He's a sweet guy.
great dude,
Yeah.
man.
This is one
I've
of my
known him since before he was born.
Yeah. I want to say that Ralphie said to me, I mean, he said this a lot, but I specifically think he said it about you when he was like, I am Josh Wolf on. Got a big old hog on him. Ask about it. I don't want to ask about it. I'm not. Got a big old hog on him. Yeah. Dude, I miss that guy. He was so much
Such a
fun.
good dude.
Yeah,
You know what? The last time I saw him, I don't know if I've ever told this story. The last time I saw him, we were in Nashville, dude. And so we're at this bar down on Broadway at a honky tonk. This is right when I guess Nashville was starting to become what it is now.
Right.
And he's separated from Lana, and he's got this little girl on his lap. And I'm talking to another comic, and Ralphie's there to my left, and I turn my back, and a couple minutes in, we're at it's a club, but I feel like a rumble behind me. And I turn, and Ralph has fallen off the stool, and he's laying on his back. And he goes, Josh Wolf, help me up. I go, help you? And he goes, you go to the gym? I go, yeah, but to jump on the treadmill, not to carry it. Like I can't. And then we look down and we just see these 2 little feet sticking out from under him. Like the Wizard of Oz, dude. Like the Wizard of Oz. And her little feet are just wiggling. I go, oh, everybody, we got to get this little girl out. So we try to pick Ralphie up, but and he's trying to get up, but I don't know how to put this, and I mean this all respect, and I love Ralph, but he was soupy. When he tried to pick him up, he kind of fell through your fingers, you know? And so we're trying to pick him up, right? And somebody goes, rock him. So we start to rock him. And the goal is just to lift him up far enough so we can get her out from under.
Oh my God.
We rock him up. Somebody yanks her feet out from under. Dude, when she came out from under this Ralphie, this is the noise she made. And I asked her, we were sitting at the bar, and she had this bewildered look on her face afterwards. So I'm sitting at the bar with her, and I go, tell me something. What was it like under there? She goes, dark and hot.
Poor kid saw her whole life flash before her eyes.
Yeah.
She didn't think she was making out of it.
No.
No,
She didn't
for
think she was making
sure.
out.
No.
Holy cow, that's great.
Yeah.
Who is here? Listen, I have to tell you, that's one of the funniest visuals I've ever.
It was amazing.
If I could see that, that's so funny. This is Josh Wolf and his son Jacob. Now, Jacob, you do stand up, or you just kind of compliment?
No, yeah, I
Josh?
open for him.
Oh,
now.
you do? Huh?
Yeah. Only a couple months in. My first time by myself on stage was in January.
How you feeling about it? Comfortable?
Yeah, I'm having a whole bunch of fun.
You have a tremendous sense of comfortability, like being here and doing all this.
Yeah, I
That's great.
appreciate it. It's definitely something I've gathered from him. But we've been doing some stuff on stage for the last 3 years, so I've started to really figure out.
Tell him what we do on stage.
I open for him, and then he comes out, and then him and I do a Q&A on stage. So we'll obviously, like you said, a lot of people know me from his jokes and from anything he's posted online. So we'll go on stage, and people will ask us questions, and then him and I will just kind of stand up there and riff on it for
That's fun.
20 minutes.
If people feel like they know him, right? Because I've had his,
Sure,
personal
grew up,
life on
yeah.
blast since he was 15.
Yeah.
And then, so what he does is he opens the show in a really smart way. He says, he's been telling embarrassing stories about me for 10 years. Do you want to hear a couple about him that nobody knows?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
It's a great way to open the show. And that way also, it's a great way to jump into stand-up because he doesn't have to remember jokes.
Right.
He can just tell stories.
And riff off of that.
And then the Q&A, man, is like, there are tons of clips of us online together, but the Q&A stuff has been
Good.
so, and somebody, like, the questions range from jokes about us, but like somebody asked in Miami 2 weeks ago, do you eat, can I say that?
No, I have a feeling.
But on the backside.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think we understand.
And so
Who asked you or him?
both of us.
Both of
Okay.
us.
What a weird question to ask a father-son
What
combo.
a weird answer to have to answer in front of your son.
Yeah, yeah.
I've heard
because
way
I,
worse things.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was-
but when you hear it, it's about your mother, which is what really is awkward about it.
Yeah, but
that's why I started to laugh
Yeah.
and couldn't wait to answer the question.
Yes.
But that kind of stuff,
What was the
man.
answer, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that speaks volumes about your mother now.
Well, I didn't get to answer it on stage, so I'll put my answer for what I was going to say then, like father, like son.
Yeah,
So
bravo.
yeah.
Bravo.
that's yeah.
I think we're all on the same page. Yeah.
But look, also, like, if I got to be honest, I'm not doing it for me.
No,
Do you know
well,
Well,
a little bit.
yes and
Little
no,
bit.
but like, it's
Yeah.
not my
Yeah.
first choice.
Yeah. Well, it depends on who it is.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right.
And also,
J-Lo's getting it.
Depends on who's showered the most recently.
Yeah,
I think,
yeah.
in all honesty.
yeah, but I would.
J-Lo's getting it. That waitress from Topeka is not getting it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
there's
will
a big
tell you,
difference.
I have friends of mine who are straight up. They'll meet a girl at a bar. I'm
Nope.
like, yeah, that's where you gotta. I need to know your shower schedule.
Yeah.
I need to understand what you eat.
Yeah.
Like, I need to know a little bit about you. This is not a stranger.
I don't want to find out all those things after. I need to know beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to be like, hey, you know what? I'm not gonna make it down there.
Right.
Yeah.
I wish to God, I keep trying to explain to my son, I've said to him, listen to me, the happiest day of my life is when you were born. Nothing makes me happier than being a father. Your father is the greatest thing. You also ruined my life. I can't have fun anymore. I had to work. I can't stay away for weeks at a time. You've ruined all the fun in my life.
Yeah.
Don't do that to yourself. Like, I try to convince him now, have it when you're in your 30s like I did, so it's okay. It's time to do it. Because no kid wants to be 26 and lose all that stuff.
I was 25.
Yeah. 25 is, my mother was 17. She
Yeah.
got screwed. But, literally.
Literally,
yeah.
But, I mean, like, if you can, I just trying to convince my son at 17, you don't want to be that kid to have a baby.
Yeah. No, you don't. And I will tell you, here's the benefits of 25 is you do miss those years, but I
Okay.
wouldn't trade having energy for the kids. But even more importantly, dude, is I'm still young enough now to enjoy this age.
Yes.
This is something that a lot of people don't get, and you're doing it too.
Yes.
This is where you're young enough where you're like, oh, we can still have some fun together.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so that part I wouldn't trade at all. This chapter where we're podcasting together and hopping on stage together is amazing.
That
And
must be fun.
He admits things like I hear. He was like, "Did I ever tell you about that time when I walked in on you and Mom?" I'm like, "What?"
That's a good way to find out.
Yeah,
in front of a stranger.
Yeah.
But that kind of stuff, dude. The show we're doing now,
Yeah.
not only is his set good, not only am I at a point now where I feel so good on stage, man. I feel so finally locked into who I am and what I do. But then after I stand up, it's a whole. You get the Q&A with he and I, and then I'm still on guitar.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he plays
Oh,
guitar.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so like it's like a full show.
Hey, you're doing all your fun stuff. You're like, I got my kid, I got my mushrooms, I got my guitar.
This is it, man.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm having more fun. If you ever seen me before, I'm having more fun than I ever have, and this is what this is that chapter. For me.
I can't imagine that because I remember the first couple of times you've been on the show. I'm like, this guy's fun. This guy knows what he's doing. So
I absolutely love it, and I will tell you that I could not wait to come on the show. It's been a minute since I've seen you, but I always have a great time on this show, dude.
good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. Show's over. Listen, we've talked
outro.
so long. Josh and Jacob will be at Side Splitters Friday, 7:30 and 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, the Mushroom Show. And then Saturday, 7 and 10 o'clock. You can go to sidesplitterscomedy.com or 960-1197.
And I give away my guitar at the Saturday Late Show if you want to come by.
You do?
Oh.
So you pick up a new one in each town?
Every Saturday, I buy one and I give it away every
Did you
Saturday.
buy
Late
one
Show.
yet here?
No, I don't know where to go. Where
You
you
gotta
gotta
be
I'll fill you in.
sponsored.
Yeah.
You gotta be sponsored.
Yeah, you know what? We had a deal with Gibson, but it
I bet you we can get you a deal with Dean Guitars.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
Great seeing you. Great meeting you,
Good meeting
buddy.
you as well, man. Thank you for having me.
We're done. We're check us out on Instagram at the Mike Calta Show. Also, I don't know about you guys. You're on Thread. We're on Thread now.
I just joined yesterday.
Everybody's got to join.
Seems exactly like Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you might be called as a witness in the upcoming lawsuit. We'll see you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend. Goodbye.